Brilliant. Danny Flex of Seconds Out, delighted to be joined by Mitchell Smith on the comeback trail. How's it going? I'm thinking you're not quite on weight yet. Is that fair?
Yeah, not far, but probably about 10 kilo left to go. But it's all in prep. I'm all in preparation for January. I should be ready for end of January. We're just waiting on dates now. Looking to set up a meeting with Frank Warren again, and should be rock and rolling in January.
Frank Warren's been a massive supporter of yours, even during all the time you've had out. He's talked about you quite a lot during the intervening period as well. I bet he can't wait to have you back.
Well, I hope so. I mean, we haven't had a full blown conversation yet, but from what I've heard through the grapevine, he's happy to have me back on board. I was lucky enough to be exciting beforehand, and I think with a bit of maturity, I'll be just as exciting this time.
And now you've got BT Sport as part of the deal. With that, they weren't around then, were they? When you were
Well, I boxed on BT Sport in my last fight, so I was lucky enough. I was lucky enough to have been on it once. So yeah, look, fingers crossed I can get back on the big stage again, and then I'll be able to box on the top of shows like I was last time.
Let's kind of update everything that's happened since we last spoke. So we did that long article that was on British Boxing News about 2.5 years ago now. I checked earlier. It was a lot longer than I thought it had been. And you'd not long come out of prison on remand. That was 7 months before you finally got sentenced, which is a bit of a disgrace in itself, but that's a separate issue. I'll take that up with the justice system. But I think you just broken your foot as well, which has stopped you running for a bit. But you had plans to come back that year. That was 2018. And now here we are in nearly 2021, and you're actually going to come back. What's happened?
Yeah, well, there was before I touch base on each other. Basically, the rule is that you're not actually allowed to hold a British Boxing Board license until you're offered prison license.
True,
well, when I got sentenced to my 2.5-year remand, I was also put on a 3-year license. So I've had to wait until this year to be able to apply for my boxing license. Don't get me wrong, I was having an argument with the board every year. Look, please, I need it back, because at the end of the day, although I was motivated to get back in the ring, the motivation in the training sessions, it wasn't enough to be able to make it realistic for me to be able to come away from home and to be able to diet and actually get myself down to a decent weight and a decent fitness to be able to get on training. So I had to sort of it's been a rocky road, man. I've had many cracks in the comeback, and there was a time that I didn't think it wasn't going to happen. But I'm around the corner now. I am providing, obviously, my all my bloods and my MRI scan comes back well and my eyesight comes back well. Then I'll be a license holder in December and I'll be fighting in January.
Have you still been kind of sparring people from the current scene so you get an idea of how good your sharpness is compared to how it was? Because that's the biggest thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I won't mention names, but I've had a few sparring sessions that have gone sensibly well, considering, I'm just under 12 stone and I'm not 10 stone. So I'm happy enough with where I'm at in terms of my sharpness and my ability to be able to do what I used to be able to do, my speed, my power. In all fairness, Dan, I'm not going to sit here and want to blow my own trumpet. I generally think I'll be better this time than I was last time. I'm a lot more mature. I'm a lot stronger than I was. I know that's probably without actually being in the ring and knocking anyone out, but I generally think I'm a lot harder. I won't get manned out of any fights from now on. And I think that in my last, when I was a pro last time, I was carefully matched because of my age. And I think this time I won't have to be carefully matched as such. Obviously, in the comeback itself, the first few fights I'm going to have to be cautious around who I get in with size-wise, because I'm going to be fighting up at 10-4, 10-3, 10-4. But in terms of when I get down to my championship weight, which I think will be probably lightweight, I don't think that there's going to be anyone that's going to be able to manhandle me. I'm stronger now. I'm sharper now. I'm obviously not as fighting fit as what I used to be, but that will come with being back in the ring and being back under the lights. But I feel good. I've still, I'm not as young as I was, but I've still got youth on my side. I'm only 27 years of age, and I feel good. There are little niggles here and there that I've got, but that's nothing that I wouldn't have had if I'd have still been a pro now. So they're just things that I've just got to be cautious of when I'm training.
You've obviously put in a huge amount of work to just get to where you are now. Who else can you credit for that kind of turnaround in the last couple of years? Who's been integral to this comeback process?
Well, for starters, I will definitely, although me and Barry Smith aren't working together anymore, I will definitely thank Barry on getting me to a certain extent in my career, because he stuck by me through times that it was unrealistic to say that I was going to get in the ring. You know, when I walked into his gym at 110 kilos, it was like, oh, how are we going to do this? But Barry was definitely a big part of it. John Clark was my dietitian. I'm actually not currently working with him at the moment, because things just, as I'm cutting weight now, and I'm getting closer to fighting weight. I need someone that's there 24/7, and he's in Nottingham, so it weren't like I was down the road. I could go and sit with him. I go and talk with him. He's a very busy man. So I would like to thank John Clark. My dad's been a massive help to me, um, and now I'm currently working with a young up and coming trainer called Luke Groves, and he's got me over, shacked up in a place right near the gym. I'm staying in his father's house, Paul Groves, who's put me up, and I'm thankful for that. And Luke's a fantastic trainer. He's going to be going for his pro license soon. He's going through the motions of it now. He's got a good understanding of boxing, and I enjoy it because he's young, he's fresh, he wants to push me day in day out. He's living it with me, and I think I needed something like that. Someone there pushing me every day. That's the difference. I think that's the difference of me saying that I'm going to get back in the ring and actually getting back in the ring.
What's it been like spending so much more time at home? Obviously, you had to go back to work for a bit as well, once the boxing wasn't happening. But what's it been like spending more time at home, the missus, the kids? Has there been a positive side to it, I suppose, is what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I mean, look, I would definitely say I'm a better father now than I was. It's weird because I've got a lot more, up until the past 3 months, I've had a lot more time for my kids because I've been at home and I've been a better dad, and I've been doing the school runs, getting them up, making them breakfasts. And it's been nice. It's been nice to have spent the first year and a half of my son's life with him, seeing him do things that a lot of fathers don't see. Their first steps, their first calling, their first talking, which has been nice because I didn't get to see that with my young daughter because I was always away training. So yeah, there are definitely pluses in the situation I was in. Um, would I change it? Probably. I would much rather have been in the ring. But no, listen. On all jokes aside, you know, I, I've enjoyed being a dad, but it's time to go back to. It's time to get some money in the bank now and actually secure a bit of a future for my kids so that they don't have to. I don't know, do it the hard way, I suppose.
And you said you feel you'll be more physically mature this time around. What about mentally and emotionally? Because everything that happened to you, you were such a young age when you got into professional side of the sport. Was it a bit too much too soon?
100%. I think I touched base on this and I touched on this with interview with Steve Lillis, and said that I was possibly too young. It happened, yeah, too young and too soon. I didn't know how to, one, look after my money, two, keep my feet on the floor. I was very arrogant. I didn't give a shit about people's opinions. Sorry about my French. I didn't care about other people's opinions. I was in it for me, and I was in it for the money. And I think I fell out of love with the fact of, the reason why I got into boxing is because I loved boxing, and then I was a professional, and all I loved was the attention and the money. So when it comes to actually being in the gym and training hard, it was like, I'm only doing this for one thing. And it was half-hearted. And, I suffered a defeat to George Jupp, and I've come to peace with that now. I've come to terms with that now. And I only lost because I beat myself. And listen, I'm not taking nothing away from him, but it weren't the same person that I was in the gym early on in my career when I was having devastating knockouts and looking good. And it was half-hearted. And this time I've trained over the past 3 years, and don't get me wrong, it's been tough, but I train a lot harder now than what I've ever done because I leave it in the gym. There were times where I used to go into the gym, hit the bag for 4 rounds, and walk out hardly a broken sweat.
And are you still living in the same area? Because I know that was a bit of an issue as well, that there were people in that area that were maybe envious of your position and wanted to kind of
Yeah, no,
get you into
I've come
trouble.
about 10 miles out of my area, which is the furthest I could afford at the time.
Sure.
So, but yeah, no, look, I actually stay away. Like I said, my wife and kids have moved about 10 mile out of the area, but like the past 2-3 months now, I've been living in a completely different area, 6 days a week, not seeing my kids 6 days a week, and then going home to see them for 1 day, and then coming back to training camp because there was when I said about there was a time when I didn't think it would happen again was not actually so long ago. It was only about 3 months ago, and I was like, I need to get myself into shape, you know. And I was lucky enough to have Luke say, look, come over. I've known Luke for many years anyway. Come over, you know. I can help push you day in day out, you know. Your accommodations here. I'll take you food shopping. The gym's at the bottom of my road. I can literally see the gym from my bedroom. And it's literally having someone hold my hand for the past 3 months. And now I'm literally in touching distance. I feel fantastic mentally, physically. And like I said, I've only got about 10 more kilos to shift, which in a realistic world isn't a lot. You know, it's 2-3 months of hard work. And I'm in decent nick and I'm in decent fitness. I feel good. I'm just looking forward. Listen, I might get in the ring in the end of January and be nowhere near the fighter I was. And you know what? I'll hold my hands up and say, look, I tried, but I've messed it up myself. Do I think that will happen with the way I'm looking right now? Definitely not. But I'm not going to sit here and blow my own trumpet too much, although I like doing that. I'm not going to do it too much because I generally want to let my hands do the talking this time.
What's been the toughest thing about this whole process, the hardest thing you've had to overcome over the last, 3 years?
Um, I think the time waiting, because dedication's always been my downfall. And to be dedicated for 3 years for no reason, which is the way I looked at it, without earning any money, still trying to hold down to be able to provide for my family. The time was just killing me. And within the past year, like I said, I'm thankful to have Barry to have kept me in the gym and kept me grafting away. But within the last year, something's changed. And mentally, I feel like it was in touching distance. And then literally, like I said, 3 months ago, something dropped. I was like, right, I'm getting my license in a few months. I've got to start getting to a fit. Look, I was at a okay fitness, but not to the degree where I could get in the ring and do some sparring. I'm not, nowadays, and I'm doing 6 and 8 round sparring, and I'm in almost like a fight camp, if you like. You know, I'm doing exactly what I would have been doing in title levels when I was a pro. So yeah, the time for me was probably the hardest, and then obviously the weight was the second, and then doubting myself, obviously trying things in the gym at 110 kilos and then it not happening the same way it used to when I was 60 kilos. And it's like, oh, do you reckon I'll ever be able to do this again? You start to doubt yourself a little bit, and your mind plays tricks on you. And like I said, man, I'm not far now. I'm not far.
In those moments where you talked about just now, those self-doubt moments, who would you have turned to back then and said, I'm worried, is this going to, and they'd have reassured you? Who was that for you?
If I'm honest, I had no one. If I'm honest, I had no one. I mean, my wife was always confident that I'd come back because it's all that, even if I didn't talk about it for a week, I'd always relate back to boxing. Everything I've done, I related back to boxing. So she always kept saying to me, you love the game, you need to go back. If I'd have 2 weeks out the gym, you need to go and do a training session. Because the moment you get me in the gym, I'm okay, like I train. But it's just I'm saying talking from when I was 100 kilos, etc. It was just getting me to the gym. That was my problem, because just a lazy fat man mentality, like being on the sofa, eating crisps, eating ice cream. What, you're not going to want to go to the gym and work out. You know what I mean? It seems bloody pointless. So yeah, look, I turned to my missus. My dad was always trying to, but he was more of a constructive criticism man. So he sort of
Yeah.
tried to work it the other way, like, oh, you need to pull your finger out. You're getting fat again, like, you know what I mean, like just like that. But that always sent me the other way.
Oh, well, you had your best interest at heart. I think we can agree on that one.
Yeah,
Um,
100%, 100%.
in terms of coming back, what sort of weight do you see yourself at for the first fight, and then long term, where do you see yourself?
I think saying around 10-4, 10-5, maybe 10-3, something around there for my first fight back. I wouldn't want to fight any heavy. I boxed at 10-4 before. I wouldn't want to really box any heavier than that, to be honest with you, because I want to come back and look serious enough. I want to be cut, if that makes sense, to a certain degree. I don't want people to think I've just come back just to make the numbers up. I want to look respectable. And I've sat down with my team and we've spoke about that. So I think to talk about title weight now is unrealistic because one, I may not even ever get there, but two, I'm not down to a weight where I'm cut yet and would be able to say what I'd be able to do. If I was to guess, I'd possibly say lightweight. If I could make super featherweight again, all cuts down to whether I can do it healthily, do it properly, and still feel good when I jump on the scales. I think I'm too long in the tooth now to be able to have to do your 4 and 5 kilo dry outs. I think my days for that are numbered. And I mean, look, if I ever get to a level where, you know, to get down to a weight, I'm going to earn a very, very good lump of money. But I'm not down for getting in the ring unhealthy like I used to, and I'm feeling shit basically. I'll see how I go, but as long as I feel healthy on the scales, I'll feel strong. I'll be happy enough even to fight up at 10 stone.
Is there anyone out there, boxing wise, who has been away from the sport for a while and come back, and you've looked at that and thought, yeah, so I can do it? It's like a role model inspiration.
Oh yeah, of course. Obviously, I thought he was going to ask me another question, and I wasn't going to get caught up in calling people out.
All right.
No, yeah. Obviously, looking at Fury, obviously that's a massive thing to do. I think in my own way, I've got a Tyson Fury story in my own way.
Yeah.
I would have lost by the time I get in the ring almost 50 kilos. So it's the size of a small man, if you like.
Well, in terms of percentage of your body weight, it's probably bigger than Fury lost.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you look at it like that, look, I'm not going to say that mine was bigger and better, but I know in my own way I've had my own problems. You know what I mean? I've suffered depression. I've been in and out the nick 3 or 4 times over the past 3.5 years. You know, there's a couple of other things I don't really want to go through on camera, but there was a few other things that I had to battle. And yeah, look, the Fury story just encouraged me. He said he actually sent me a few messages. Billy Joe Saunders managed to get me a few messages of him just basically just say, look, keep going, go harder, go home, man, keep pushing. You know, if I can do it, you can do it, sort of thing, which was really encouraging. And I think do you know what I've really liked recently is to hear the news of Bradley Skeet actually coming back, because I like Brad and I think he's a fantastic fighter, and I think he can definitely go on and do more than what he's done. He's moved up to Sheffield to Dominic Ingle, which is a fantastic move. And I generally really like Brad. So it's kind of like we're going to be sort of probably on a path together.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because we sort of started together. So it's kind of like fell into place, really. So look, obviously I look up to them type of fighters as well. So it's going to be nice to do it all again.
If you could go back to 22-year-old.
One sec, Dan.
Yeah, go on.
Just lock that off for me, please. That might go off again. Yes, brother.
Probably Frank Warren telling you stop talking.
Sorry about that. It was just Frank, actually.
If you could go back and talk to 22-year-old Mitchell Smith, what's the piece of advice you'd give him out of everything?
I don't know whether I'd talk, more like a slap in the face. No, look. Do you know what, Dan? It's weird because a lot of people say this to me when I talk boxing. You know, would you change anything? I think there are a few things I would change, but at the same time, it does give me a bit of a giggle to think, do you know what? I lived the typical 21-year-old dream. Like, I was earning good money. I was going out. I was enjoying myself. But to be a world champion, it's not the right thing to be doing. So Look, I think I would tone everything down a lot more. I would have probably focused a lot more. But I think, like I said, I think, was there anyone to blame? Obviously, there's always myself to blame. I just think everything I touched, basically, in my opinion, just went well. Everything I'd done went well. I mean, even when I had off performances, the telly was raving about what I was doing, and it was like, right, that wasn't even that good. Like, but look, I'm gonna be I mean, I'm a completely different person now than what I was. I've definitely toned down a lot, but mine being 18 stone, fat and ugly, probably does that to you. but
I wouldn't
no,
know.
look, yeah, literally. Look, I'm gonna be different this time. I won't be as arrogant. I won't be as flash, and I will be just enjoying my money with my family and make like I said, securing a future for us.
If someone would have put their kind of arm around your shoulder, I'm sure a few people tried when you were that age and things were going wrong. Would you have listened, do you think?
No, no, no. I weren't interested. I weren't interested in. I mean, I remember having a substantial amount of money saved somewhere, and I wanted it. And I remember having the argument about, look, I don't care. I don't give a shit about the future. I'll fight again and win a load more money. I want that money because I want to go out. You know, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's crazy. But no, I wouldn't. If anyone would have come to me then, which they did, I wouldn't have been interested in having a conversation.
So what's your kind of main ambition now? Is it just getting in there, doing it at a weight that you're comfortable with and saying, I've done this, or is it further than that now? Like, would you be disappointed if you didn't achieve a certain?
It seems very unrealistic to say this, but I'm gonna put it out there that I'm very respectable in what I'm about to say. But if I generally didn't think that I would be able to win a world title, then I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't be sat in the gym now just to have done an hour and a half train. I wouldn't have trained at 1 o'clock this afternoon. I wouldn't have trained at 7 o'clock this morning if I generally didn't think I would win a world title. There's only really money at the top, man. I want to go and win some money. I want to go and win some titles, and I want to be the best in the division. And I'm not. I've been doing boxing 22 years, and I've always done it just to be the best. And I don't. Not I'm gonna sit here and say I don't rate fighters, but if you're in the sport to become second or third, you're in the wrong sport. You got to reach for the stars, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try and get. I'm gonna try and get further than I was last time. I want to win a world title. I want to win it for myself and my kids.
And
I owe it to myself.
And just before we let you go, any message for all the fans out there that have been asking about you for the past 3 years on social media,
I don't think I have any fans anymore.
No, there's still some out there. Trust me. When we did
There's
that
still
article,
some
there
out
was
there. No,
loads. They've been
listen,
asking ever since.
I just want to say thank you to everyone that's showed support and has believed in the comeback. You know, this has been a fantastic journey for me, and I'm literally around the corner now. And everyone that has shown support and helped me out with a little bit of money here and there, so that over the past year I've been able to stay in the gym, and everyone knows who they are. Everyone that's put in a tiny little bit of input into my career, and I genuinely mean this. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And this should be a fantastic story in 5 years' time.
That's wicked, mate. We're all looking forward to seeing you back. Hopefully, it is January or not long after.
Yeah, no, it will be in January. We're on track. We'll be in January. But thanks, Dan. I appreciate your time, buddy.
All right, mate. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
Bye, mate. Bye, mate.